All right, let's talk about one of the most paradoxical tools of the digital age, Tor. You've probably heard of it. It's this incredibly powerful piece of technology that's used by government spies and at the same time by the activists who are trying to avoid them. It's a real puzzle and one of the most controversial topics online today.
So, which is it? Is Tor a heroic shield for whistleblowers and people fighting for their rights? Or is it a villain's playground, a lawless space for the worst parts of the internet? Well, the truth is, it's kind of both. And that's what makes this so complicated.
And here's where the story gets really wild. This whole thing was originally built by the US Navy. Yep, the US government. But today, it's the #1 tool for everyone from spies and activists to, you guessed it, criminals. How on earth did we get here?
To really get to the bottom of this dilemma, you first have to understand how the tech actually works. And its origin story, well, let's just say it's not what you'd expect.
Yeah, forget the stereotype of some hacker in a dark basement. Tor was born in a U.S. Naval Research Lab. The goal was simple. U.S. intelligence needed a way to talk online without anyone tracing them. But they had a huge problem. If the only people using this secret network were spies, then any message from it would basically scream, "Hi, I'm a U.S. spy." Their solution was kind of brilliant. They opened it up to the public. The idea was to create a massive digital crowd, a sea of regular people, so their agents could just blend in and disappear.
And that's where the name comes from. Tor actually stands for the onion router. And that metaphor is perfect. Just imagine your data is the tiny core of an onion. Before it goes anywhere, Tor wraps it in multiple, separate layers of encryption. So here's how that works in practice. When you use Tor, your internet traffic gets bounced between 3 random computers out there in the world. The first stop, the entry node, knows that you sent something, but because of that first layer of encryption, it has no idea where it's ultimately going. Then you hit the middle node. This one is completely in the dark. It doesn't know who sent the data or its final destination, it just passes it along. Finally, your data gets to the exit node. This last stop can see where you're going, say a news website, but it has absolutely no idea who you are. At each step, just one layer of the onion is peeled back. It's a simple but genius way to make sure no single point in the chain knows both who you are and where you're going.
Okay, so that powerful anonymity isn't just a cool tech feature. It's become an absolutely essential shield for some of the most vulnerable people on the planet. Let's dig into the powerful argument for why Tor has to exist.
For millions of people, this isn't just about privacy. It's a literal lifeline. Whistleblowers use platforms like SecureDrop, which is built on Tor, to get sensitive documents to journalists without getting caught. Activists, going all the way back to the Arab Spring, have used it to organize and get around government censorship. And on a really personal level, it allows survivors of domestic violence to look for help online without their abusers being able to track their every click.
But, and this is the big but, that exact same shield has a massive, unavoidable flip side. The very same features that protect a journalist in a war zone can also protect a criminal mastermind. This is the dark side of the onion.
Let's be real. This level of anonymity is what powers the dark web. There's a special feature in Tor called Hidden Services that makes it possible to host a website without anyone being able to find the server's physical location. That's what gave us infamous illegal marketplaces like the Silk Road. And today, ransomware gangs use that exact same feature to host their websites, to leak stolen data, and to demand payments, which makes them incredibly hard for police to find and shut down.
And all of this brings us right to the core of the problem. It's a moral question and a technical one. Is it even possible to have the good without the bad? Can you have a tool that offers this kind of protection without also enabling all this peril?
For law enforcement, it's a complete catch-22. Let's say they figure out a way to break Tor's anonymity so they can catch some drug traffickers. Well, that same exact technique could then be used by an authoritarian government to unmask a human rights activist. If you break it for one, you break it for everyone, including, by the way, their own spies who are trying to hide in that same crowd. There's a term for this kind of thing. It's called a dual-use technology. And here's the final incredible twist of irony. The US government is still one of the biggest funders of the nonprofit that runs the Tor project. So the very same government trying to undermine it to catch criminals is also paying to keep the lights on, because they know they need it too.
When you get right down to it, Tor itself isn't good or evil. It's a neutral tool. I love this quote because it puts it so simply. It's like a hammer. A hammer has no agenda. You can use it to build a home for someone in need, or you can use it to smash a window. It's all about who's holding it.
And that leaves us right here with this one big, provocative idea. It's the fundamental trade-off of our digital lives. The real price of having true, meaningful privacy might be that we have to tolerate the fact that some people will use that freedom for terrible things. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is that a price we're willing to pay?